Don't stop until yourself make us proud. A very good morning to you all, my friends and students. Here I am, Pushpa from St. John's International School, Fatehpur, Haryana. As you all know that I'm taking a subject of history, and for the past 2 weeks onwards, we get the grade of 11th standard. We get the grade of 11 as a parent's demand. So we are at the end of the political science of the 11th standard grade. So this is the 9th chapter, and we have one more chapter to end off the syllabus of the grade 11 political science. So chapter number 9, it's all about the constitution as a living document. So from 11th standard starting onwards, from the grade 11 starting onwards, we just see what's the constitution meant. Why we need constitution, what is the important, what are the key features of the constitution, and what are the legislation, the pillars of the constitution, and how the fundamental rights and fundamental duties, all regarding about the constitution. We are going to be done, we are done with that regarding the constitutions as well. So in constitution, on tell about the fundamental rights and the fundamental duties importance, we have 2 or 3 more important cases that are deal with the Supreme Court. That is very important to give, because fundamental duties and amendment case. So if you want to amendment a thing means, we want to file a case regarding any people. So we have to know that what the case tell about and how the amendments are done, and all those important things we want to know that. So that's why we have I think so it is 3 important case, or but one is most important. This Keshavarna Bhada case, that is very important regarding the Supreme Court, that brings about the fundamental rights and the fundamental duties violations. So this important case will in your textbook, in grade 11 textbook, they give this the example from the Keshavardhana Bhada case, but they didn't tell the detail of that case. But while I'm finished that, one more lesson we have to finish, the grade 11 political science. After I finishing that lesson, I put a 5 minutes video about the most important case in the Indian constitutions. So regarding your standard, regarding your grade, Keshavarna Bharati case is a very important. That is not about how the case, who is Keshavardhana, it's not about that, but what is the basic structure, what is the basic thing, what is the basic stone to bring the fundamental duties as an amendment. So you have to know that, and you have to know that what is the Keshavardhana, how the fundamental duties are born out. So in this chapter, we are going to see that a constitution as a living document. What are all the things says a constitution as a living document? And if you want to change, if you want to put any suggestions or ideas regarding the constitution, what step we have to do? That step is an amendment. If you want to change a thing in a constitution, we should amend that. So what are the procedure of an amendment? Is the amendment regarding all things, the amendment or change, or it differs or remaining the same. So that important thing we are going to see. Then what are the basic structure and evaluation of the constitution, and last thing as a constitution as a living document. Okay, these are all the key features of this constitution as a living document we are going to see in this video. The Constitution of India. The Constitution of India was adopted on 26th November 1949. It is 26th November 1949, but it came into force 26th January 1950. That's why we are celebrating the Republic Day. Independence Day is we get the freedom from the British, but Republic Day is we form the constitution, we form the rules and regulations, we form a structure to our administration. So that is a constitution. Constitution is not about the liberty, equality, fraternity, and whatever, and etc. It is also a rule of law. So a country said to be a democracy, it's not only having the people have the rights to elect the leader, but also have the rule of law to follow the citizen, and for the political leaders, and for the administrative officer, and even for the judiciaries. Okay, the constitution was formally adopted on 26th November 1949. On 26th November 1949, our constitutions get the writing of constitution get end off, but came into forces 26th January 1950. So that's why we are celebrating the Republic Day. Okay, the second point is one thing we have to discuss. In this world, we have two different things. We have two things. By having these two things, we can differentiate many things. Like one is a static and another one is a dynamic. In this world, everything's are divided by these two kind. Maybe it's a static one, but it is a dynamic. Maybe the another kind is a dynamic one. So, for example, if we can say that climate is a static one, but weather is a dynamic one. Dynamic means it's day-to-day change, but static it's a constant one. So in our body, in human body, certain organs are static. It can't change. Kidney is kidney, liver is liver, heart is heart, hand is hand, nerves is a nerves. But it's not to change to some other thing. So that is a static. But dynamic is the climate, the seasons. For a year we have the three seasons. So yearly it will be changes. So like that, we have to say our constitution is not a static one. More than our constitution get adopted more than 55 years, the same constitution continues. We should suggest, we should amend on a particular thing, but it's not to change the whole thing. That's why we can say our constitution is a dynamic, it's not a static one, because we have a changes regularly by amending a particular thing. Okay. But in Russia, they have they have the static constitution. Till now, they adopted the constitutions. It goes on more than a 74 years. Till now, they amended. They changes their constitutions more than 4 times. Okay, they followed 4 different type of constitution. But in our India, we have one constitution. We have a suggestions. We would like to amend a particular thing. Okay. The second point is why we say that our constitution as a living document means our constitution said to be a living document because it lays the solution for the different problems for the future also. Our constitution formulate what is the plan of today and what we are going to do on 10 years back, 20 years back, 50 years back. The future plan also decided or lay out in the constitution. So that's why this is a one point we can say our constitution is a living document. And second point is our constitution accepted if a necessity of the modification, if any necessity to do this thing means the constitutions adapt a new article or a new amendment, or otherwise it's just left out. And our constitution is flexible to everyone. It is a most important feature in the Indian constitution. Our constitution is flexible and rigid. As you all know that we are having the 2 state of government. Okay, 2 organs of government. One is national level government, that is a union or central government, and each state has their own government, that is the state government. Okay, so on having the 2 organs of the government, we have a certain a strict rule to be followed. Only having this, we have the control of the both the government, or otherwise everyone take up the decision means the entire country get collapsed. Okay. So in some point of time, our constitution is flexible to every state and every situations. Okay, you can be allowed like the list of the items. We have a union, state and concurrent list. So the state has a power to create their own law regarding their items. What are the items in the state list? So that is flexible to everyone. That means open to changes. If you want to do some changes, you can allow for few things only. And second one is we have a rigid constitution in some point of time. For example, if we have a national emergency means if we have a national emergency, the central government has the supreme power than any other else, than any other government or any other legislations. Okay, the state should obey the order of the central government. So that is a rigid. In some point of time, the constitution lives in a freely manner, but in some point of time, the constitution rigid ourselves resistant. Okay, our constitution is said to be a sacred documentum, because our constitution is a secularism one. It's a secularist one. Our constitution didn't mention any religion to particularly follow by the people. Okay, whatever the religion based upon the people, they can allow to follow in Indian country, in India. Okay, our constitution is not a static document. It is not the final word about everything. It is not an unalterable. Then this is about a few things why we say our constitution of the living document. Then we are getting into the important thing of this lesson, that is an amendment. How we would change the how we going to change a particular thing in constitution means by amending that thing we can include that into the constitution. Then how we are going to amend? Amendment is not a simple process. We have three type of amendments, like one for an ordinary law regarding rules and regulations or road safety or drinking water safety, whatever it is, so safety or security regarding the women and education. So these are the ordinary laws. If you want to an ordinary laws means it is we get the simple majority in the parliament. In one lesson I just tell about how to a bill turn into one law. So that's why we are going to amend the constitution. We put the amendment. If you want to amend means we for certain things we won't have the special majority in the parliament. For certain things we have one simple majority in the parliament. By passing that simple or special majority, the amendment get the changes into the constitutions. Okay, for an ordinary laws, similar to the ordinary laws, it's needed a simple majority in the parliament as mentioned in the article. It is on flexible part. So here we have that flexible part, that is regarding education, regarding water, sanitation, for example the health care. So it all comes under the ordinary laws only. So if you want to add regarding the ordinary lifestyle means we would have get of simple majority in the parliament. Okay, for next we are going to a special majority in both the houses. If you want to some important thing like a financial wise, revenue wise or agriculture wise, because agriculture is a backbone of our country, that's why it's very important, or industrial wise or entrepreneurs like business wise means it's a kind of a little bit important. So we want a special majority in both the houses, both the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Okay, and third point is an special majority plus the legislation of half of the state. It is the rigid one. If you want, if any state, for example our Tamil Nadu state, okay, in our Tamil Nadu state, in Tamil Nadu state, no sorry, so in Tamil Nadu state they want to add few things to that state means the parliament should give the special majority plus the legislature of the state get half of the acceptance of particular thing. Okay, so this point is a rigid one. This point is a rigid one. So how we are amend? By the ordinary, for an ordinary laws we have a simple majority in the parliament. For a little bit important we have a special majority. For more important, so that is the rigid part, we have to get the special majority plus the legislation of the half of the particular state get accept that bill, that only we are going to, after that only we get that bill into a law. So next we are going to see what is a special majority and what is we have two special majority. For important thing we have a special majority. For most important thing we have a special majority plus the half of the state of legislature members accepted. So regarding a bill means, regarding a bill, if a private bill or the government bill was appear in the parliament means the bill turn into a law by the assent of the president, and the president has a right to resend the bill, reconsideration the bill or withhold the bill. But regarding the amendment in the constitution, the president has no power to send it back or to reconsideration. Okay, the reconsideration or withhold, the president has no power. Okay, then we are going to see what is a special majority. First, ordinarily a bill gets a simple majority means. A bill get what the simple majority means, for example, in a parliament we have on the day we have the presence of 247 members. 247 members. A bill want to get a simple majority means the members in the parliament at least 140 something out the particular bill means it get passed to the another house, or otherwise it's well rejected. We can say that 1:2 ratio, 1:5 ratio. 1:5 ratio. Out of 5, at least 1% of the people can vote means it's a simple majority. It's for ordinarily. But for amendment we have a special majority. In special majority, I already said we have the two half. One is the total strength of that house, and second one is 2/3 of those who actually take part in the voting. Okay. And for amendment, both the houses of the parliament must pass the amendment bill separately in this manner. Okay, so regarding the distributions of power or relation between the center and the state, the special majority is not sufficient. The special majority is not sufficient. So more than a special majority, we have a particular half of the acceptance of the particular state legislation. We want that. That means if regarding a financial wise between union government, that means the central government, and Tamil Nadu state means first the central government give a letter, give a report to the state that we are going to amend your state, we are going to amend particularly your state regarding this it's like kind of this. First the parliament give a report to the particular state, then the state legislature should accept the report, or otherwise they can left out the letter also. Okay, with the state should accept, the state legislature should accept that and discussed in their legislature, and if they want means the half of the legislation members would vote means the bill is continued to the next thing, or otherwise it's rejected. Okay. On getting the independence, we have till now we have so much of amendments. It's kind of I'm not the countable one, but it's more than 94, 97 amendments. We have more than 94 amendments. Why we have all this? Why we have a lots of amendment means, on the period of independence, during the independence time, or till after the independence, till 5 years, the Congress party own in each and every place in the country, and that party is the one party who can withstand for 5 to 6 years. But after that time we have the coalition government. Coalition government means two party equal to one government runs the government. For example, I am a party from BJP means here is A person, B person. A person is a BJP party, B person is a Congress party. So this party BJP and Congress they both are in same equal. So the BJP plus Congress equal to coalition government. Two party runs a government means coalition government. Okay, two different parties. So after that in 21st century, the 2001 and 2002, we have the BJP government. So once the government changes mean they want to amend their wish, they want to do in their countries, because government is what the majority of the parliament. So if we have a special majority means we can amend anything. So that's why we have the more amendment. Then what are the content of the amendment? The content of an amendment, we have three different groups. Okay, The first group, it's about the technical or administrative in nature. So we just say the suggestions and the clarification are done. Okay, if you want to if you want to introduce any machines kind of regarding the agriculture or industries, means we want to clarification in technical wise. That's about. Want to administration means it's about only the clarifications of a particular officer, so none more than that. For example, the president aid to the council of minister turns to be binding in the article number 71. So first group is an technical or administrative in nature. We can amend it ordinarily in an easy manner. And second group is an differing interpretation. If you want to amend a particular things, the parliament and judiciary is always crossing, like the opposite manner, because the parliament accept that, but the judiciary has the power to review that amendment. It's about the article number 13. Article 13 is about the judiciary review, means the judiciary has a independent power to review the amendment, because the judiciary is the security for the basic, to not collapse of the basic structure of the constitutions. So we have the different interpretation. And third point is an amendment through the political consents. Political consents. So after 1984, the political pressure or come into the amendment. So that's why we're getting the 73rd, 74th and 52nd amendment. So the example for the political pressure, like the political people, I hope you know that the political people put pressure to change these kind of things as belongs to that majority party. So for example, that 73rd amendment is an 73rd and 74th is a local self-government amendment, and 52nd is an anti-defection amendment. And we have many controversial amendments, 38th, 39th and 42nd. So these amendments are the background of the internal emergency. Okay, and in that we are going to see a few features of the 42nd amendment. So the 42nd amendment is the background of the Keshavardhana Bharati case. Yeah, that is a fundamental duties. Yeah, the fundamental duties, the Keshavardhana Bharati case. On filing the Keshavardhana Bharati case, the 42nd amendment is born, and that resulted into the fundamental duties. I'll discuss that particular case on while I get finished the whole book. Okay, one more lesson to finish. So in 42nd amendment, we have the changes of the Lok Sabha's term period from 5 to 6 years, and fundamental duties we brought, and the judiciary reviews power, and the preamble. Preamble means, for example, in a textbook we have the content, means we have an index. Like that, in a constitution we have an index. So that index is a preamble. Okay. So we have the born of preamble in 42nd amendment. Next important thing is the basic structure and evaluation of the constitution. We have a 3 basic structure of the constitution. This is the most important thing, and to maintain this basic structure, the judiciary is responsible for maintain the basic structure. We are going to see what are all that. First point is specific limits to parliament. No amendment can violate the basic structure of the constitution. The basic structure means the fundamental duties, the fundamental rights. First is fundamental rights, the unity, fraternity, equality, secular, all these are the basic structure. So there is a special limits to the parliament, and no amendment can violate the basic structure of the parliament. If the violation occurs, means the judiciary interpret that without any concern, and the parliament too have a jurisdictions to follow it. And third point, that is second point, parliament have the jurisdictions to limit. And third point is judiciary is the final authority in deciding if the amendment violates the basic structure. If any amendments violates the basic structure, means the judiciary is the final authority to having that amendment or not. Here you have no special majorities. Okay, the theory of basic structure of a constitution itself. This theory of basic structure of a constitution itself, and it is for the example for the that's why we have our constitution is said about the living document. And judiciaries and its interpretations have practically amended the constitutions without any formal amendment. If the basic structure is violated by the Parliament by the amendment means the judiciary has the discretionary power to violate, to left out of the amendment. Okay, that is the review of a judiciary. And the last part of this lesson is what are the next few things about the living document of our constitutions. Why we set up the living documents of the constitutions? The significance of the constitutions as a living document. So the first, we have a 4 important. Already I tell the 2 things. The rest of the 4 points are our constitutions keep responding the current situations and the circumstances. Our constitution is a respondable manner. The first point is a respondable, and second point is constitutions responding to the experiences. Constitutions responding to the experiences, and third one is already said that it's an ability to dynamic, means the amending. Okay, and last one is a country is said to be a country. It's not about the representatives elected by the people, also the rule of law. Also the rule of law followed by the citizen, followed by the laid down by the government. Okay, and the first chapter is an introduction of the constitution. I said that it is a rule book for the government and for the citizen and for the entire country. So that's why. So these are all the things. These are the significance of the constitution is said to be as a living document. So thus we are going to end this lesson. Okay, this lesson is a simple lesson. You have to study how the amendment, what is a special majority, and what are we have 2 special majority. One is an ordinary one, and second one is regarding to the state means we want to get half of the state legislation members to voting the particular bill. So that's why we have get the second majority. The most important special majority, it's regarding any defense or any emergency manner, till we have a connection with current affairs minimum for having the second phase of a special majority. Now we have the medical emergency. Okay, that is the COVID-19 is very much spreading among the country, not on the country, among the world also. So you would have noticed that each and step, if you want to extend the it means the Prime Minister want to extend the curfew means all about the Prime Minister want to discuss on the video conference to the every state's Chief Minister. Why having means we have in the medical emergency. So we have to get, our constitution said that we have a special majority plus the state's half of the people are accepted, means the half of the members should be accepted. If the half of the state should be accepted, the curfew may be extended or else it will be released. Okay, it's all about the special majority plus the state half of the members get accepted. That's why only the Prime Minister discussed with the cabinet ministers, and then the Prime Minister comes to the video conference to every state's chief minister, then he extend the curfew. So this is the example for the special majority plus the state's acceptance. So that's we are going to about this lesson, a very simple lesson. You just read it, you can able to understand. And the next thing is what? So one more lesson to finish grade 11 political science, so that will be finishing on tomorrow. Then I will be giving the worksheet for the 11th standard grade. So please make sure on the students are requested to work on it. Stay at home and stay safe. Don't go anywhere out. If you want to go outside means, if necessity means you can go, but on wearing the mask only. Okay, but wearing the mask you can allow to go out. So take care, stay tuned with us for our daily updates. So signing off, this is Pushpa from St. John's International School, Fatehbaad, Haryana. Bye bye guys.